Hello and welcome to Please Don't Send Me into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy and horror has to offer one movie at a time. My name is Joel.
My name's Sarah.
My name's Aaron. This is pretty spooky, Joel.
Ooh. Why? What are you afraid of, Aaron?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep at night.
No. You could sleep in our bed for now,
okay,
but we don't make it a regular habit.
Okay, well,
Sarah,
I won't take all the covers, I promise.
Get those pads you put down, in case somebody pees the bed.
I'll need at least 3 of those, if you could layer it.
Better safe than sorry. The movie this week is The Exorcist from 1973, directed by William Friedkin and based on William Peter Blatty's book and written by him. Starring Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, Linda Blair, Lee J. Cobb, and Jason Miller, and what was the name of that one guy with the face? Or I said Max von Sydow. Never mind.
Which face?
That guy, Max von Sydow.
Oh.
You know the old man?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that guy was 30.
No.
Because I think this is either the same year or not the same year, the same decade, or possibly the decade before when he did, what's that movie where he plays chess with death that we watched?
Oh.
Yeah. And he's super young in that.
Seventh Seal.
Yeah, Seventh Seal. He's like in his 20s there.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. That movie is pretty rad.
I think they do the old man makeup pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. He looks a lot like that now.
He does, yeah. He's handing off the secret pass USB to what's his name? Poe Dameron.
Oh, yeah.
He gets fried. Spoiler for the first 5 minutes of episode 7.
Spoiler for Game of Thrones.
Wait, sometimes in Game of Thrones? I don't recall this.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's the three-eyed raven. He takes over for the original guy who nobody. I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Mm.
I recognized him from.
So you guys hadn't seen The Exorcist.
No.
No, sir.
I saw this movie for the first time in 2001 or 2, whenever they did the version that they were talking about in that little documentary we watched, the version you've never seen before. Because they were playing it, and me and Shane were like, hey, let's skip college for right now and go see a movie, which happened way too often. And that was I didn't watch horror movies back then, basically. But, this was really, I just thought it was really good at the time. And I'm glad to see that it is really good. It wasn't just my inexperience with horror movies. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, this movie was really good. I never saw it because, the concept of the possession kind of scared me. Decided that it was something I didn't want to see. And then I think recently, in recent years, I had more of an interest in viewing it. It was pretty rad. Pretty spooky.
And what's your feeling on it? Why do you feel like you didn't see it, Sarah?
I didn't see it because I didn't really like horror movies that much, or gore. And I knew that some, weird stuff was gonna happen. Just from, culture. I feel like it's represented differently in pop culture than the movie actually is. And it's one of those movies that I've heard about a lot from people over the years, but you told me that I should probably see it at some point because you really thought it was good. There's a couple of movies like that I still haven't seen yet that you were like, Sarah, you need to watch this, despite the fact that it's a horror movie or whatever.
Yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. No, that wasn't one of them.
But it is a good movie, and I thought it was similar in some ways to other horror movies that are really good that I like.
He dropped his microphone cover, so if you hear any popping, it's Aaron. He's got a problem.
I failed at getting it. No.
No,
It's
leave
fine.
it.
It's
Oh,
fine.
you took it off. That made a noise too. No. Oh God. The podcast is ruined.
Sorry.
That's okay. We're gonna stop right now, anyways. Oh no, we're not gonna edit. Are you kidding me?
There it is.
This is going straight.
Just fell in the spot I couldn't reach.
That's okay.
Sorry, guys. I ruined everything.
All right. Is everything okay? Okay. You don't have to worry about dropping that if it falls off. You didn't even have it on last time.
Oh, you're right.
And you didn't get pregnant, which is the whole reason I put those on there.
Thank you.
Safety first.
I'm glad I'm not pregnant.
I'm all about prevention. You know,
Thank you, Joel.
not I can't expect a young person like yourself not to, try to have sex with my sound machine at some point. So
That's true.
I just want you to wrap it
I
up.
am very attracted to your sound machine.
Right.
So
I mean, have a honest discussion with the sound
Okay.
machine. Maybe a baby is something you want in the future.
okay,
I
can have this talk.
They're really
Sorry,
into the slick back your hair. You'll look just like
Oh, okay.
the nerd in a porn movie, just like
Oh.
that one guy from the movie we were watching.
That's a
yesterday.
different movie.
No, sorry.
That was
The movie this week is, what was that?
Cobra.
Oh yeah, Cobra.
The nerd porn star.
hmm I'm trying to think of other horror movies that I'm like, oh, you should watch it because it's actually a legitimately good movie and not just famous for.
John Carpenter's The Thing comes to mind. That's pretty legit.
She has seen.
Oh,
The Thing.
I didn't know if you're talking like out to the universe, but you're saying to Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
pardon me
is,
on that.
The Thing is definitely up there.
Of course, I think that was on your list, right? Your top movie list, or was it
I'm not sure.
No, it was They Live.
They Live? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Which if you had to ask me which one she would have picked, I wouldn't have thought that one. But I mean, that's got a good political message.
I still haven't seen Jaws, and that was one you told me.
Oh,
to see,
yeah.
Despite the fact that it's a movie.
That's very much has what's going on here because, like you were talking about, the movie you expect when you start this movie is what the movie's famous for: the little girl, the spinning head, the throwing up, the possession things. But the movie paces itself out so well for basically the first hour that it's like, did I put in the wrong movie or something like that? But it's for a purpose.
Yeah, this movie, I feel, has some moments in it that are just really charming. Kind of the way like Halloween or something does. There are just moments of like an honest person. You sometimes don't get that anymore in movies where people are having an honest it feels like a natural conversation.
Right.
About something, and they could be talking about something really unusual. Kind of reminded me of The Shining a little bit in some ways.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Which is a huge compliment to the movie.
Mhm.
And a little bit of The Omen, a little bit something like that, but
Yeah.
it also has its own character. It doesn't, copy anything else, in my opinion.
No, but a whole bunch of things have obviously taken from that. I mean, how could you not? But the realism conversation thing, like Halloween does do that, where it just seems like it's people just talking. Like they're not talking about the terrible things that are going on that they don't know about. I'm thinking like in Scream, where the whole movie is about, there's crazy murderers around. I guess in a small town, that would be what high school kids would be talking about. But it all seems very slick. They're all witty people and stuff like that. But in this, they feel like real people.
Yeah.
Reagan and her mother and Father Karras. Like Father Karras we get to know, like, almost intimately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I make such a difference, I feel like.
Yeah, I'd never read the book either, but I remember somebody telling me when I was a kid that they read the book and they had to, like, sleep with the lights on in their house for, like, a month after.
Oh, dang.
It just really creeped them out and, like, got into their head, kind of. And I thought that it could potentially be pretty scary because of that. And it is a scary movie, I feel, especially if you believe in, like, the devil. And I find it, definitely the vulgarity in it is kind of crazy. Like, it feels over the top. And I was surprised by that, even though I knew it was coming. It was, like, worse than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I mean, it's cool that that's part of the demon's, like, character or whatever, but it's also kind of like, I think it may have been to shock back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that crucifix masturbation scene is something that people talk about. Like, oh man, that's crazy. You know, that's the things that people talk about in this movie, but there's so much going on with it that isn't just like the extreme things that, because of how much they set the scene, when things like that happen, it's more shocking than it would be. Because it's like, this is like, we know this little girl, you know, this is terrible what's going on there.
I had heard that she did a good job acting in it, and she did 100% so well.
Oh, yeah.
And I had heard that the makeup was really good and that they make it look like she's really squirming in there, and they really did. Like, it really looked gross and uncomfortable, and the temperature and effects, the special effects in the room and stuff, I thought all of that was really cool. But it was gross, too. It was really gross.
Yeah, it was pretty pretty disgustingly awesome.
Aaron, what are you talking about?
Oh, I think we were talking about that pea soup vomit.
I mean, yeah.
We're talking about walking down the stairs upside down, letting out some blood.
Sometimes that happens.
You just open your mouth.
Sometimes that happened that way.
Sometimes it just happens that way. You just walk down the stairs upside down, open your mouth, and drip some ketchup all over the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure
I'm glad that that's your typical method of. Hey, look, I'm not judging Joel. I mean, what I'm going to say is, dance like nobody's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Crab walk.
Crab walk like no one's watching.
No, okay. Well, then, yeah, I guess I can add that.
Okay.
One thing, I'm sure everybody has already seen this movie before, but from my fresh take on it,
Fresh.
I'm surprised that the central characters in the movie, her and her daughter, didn't have any kind of religious, like, I just assumed that they would be believers going into the movie. And
Right, because Alice is a demon. Demon's not just going to pick anybody, right?
I felt like, yeah, they had to kind of believe in it to allow it to happen almost. But I also was kind of surprised by how difficult it was for them to get over the hump of, like, yes, I need an exorcism. Like, help me, priest, who has seen crazy stuff happening in my house. Like, I'm really pleading with you for my daughter's life. Can you get me an exorcist?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's funny because you hear about this movie and I pictured her in a bed for, like, most of it.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised that there's more to it than that, and that I don't think that it's very, I don't know, there's something in it that makes it feel less serious to me than some movies do. Super entertaining, though. And,
I mean, the movie has a sense of humor, it's not about the core subject. The core subject, it is not funny, the faith and, whatever evil, the concept of evil. but there are a lot of like laugh out loud funny bits in the movie. Like it's not as serious, but you're saying the demonic possession part is just silly?
No, I don't think it's silly. I think that they deal with some serious parts in it, but there's something about the tone of the movie. Because sometimes when something is too serious, it's laughable because it's not possible. You feel like they're trying to say something is happening that isn't possible to happen, and they're doing it with too much sincerity.
Yeah.
And it feels a little bit preposterous. But in this movie, they had the right balance, I think, of tone, where they were like, this is a crazy situation, and I'm willing to say it's crazy, and, you know, it's serious, but also, like, I don't know. I just think it was handled well.
You put to words, like, perfectly what I was experiencing when I was watching the movie. Like, there were things that were coming out of that possessed girl's mouth that just, I just started laughing. Like, just because it's so, like, this is insane.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, yeah.
And and the demon is so, like, vulgar that some of it is just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure at the time it may have been really shocking for people. Like, I read that people fainted when they saw it in the theater.
Old ladies. Oh!
Some people, I guess, found it very, very disturbing.
I mean, there's some sacrilegious things going.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a strong religious background, you might be like, this is blasphemy, what I'm seeing.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
definitely. And I do think that it's interesting to see a movie like this now when there's so much else that's come out since this. But I think that it's unique and it has its own style, which I really appreciate.
Aaron, what were you expecting that didn't happen the way you were expecting in this movie? Like what was your idea of The Exorcist?
You know, I gotta say, like, in my head, like, what I pictured this movie to be like and what it was like, it's different. It's way different than what I imagined. I thought very similarly to what we were discussing prior to the movie about that it was basically going to be a movie about two priests in a room with a demon possessed girl, like, the whole time. And I was really happy to see how much world building this movie has and character focuses that we've already mentioned. I felt that was pretty awesome. Makes you care even more for the people involved in the movie. Some of the possession scenes were to be expected. Some of the things that happened, not so much.
You must have heard some things word of mouth, you know, like,
yeah, the turning around of the head, the puking.
right, that's the famous stuff. It's like, I've seen Leslie Nielsen's Repossessed. I know exactly what's going to happen.
I mean, the power of Christ compels you. I mean, everyone
people
shouts that everywhere.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah, there you go.
May have been told about the masturbation with the crucifix before this, but I didn't expect it to be quite so violent. I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood everywhere.
She follows it up with shoving her mom's face into her crotch after that too. So it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
pretty,
it's like, how bad can this get? I mean, this is, okay, that bad. Okay, well.
Yeah, pretty nuts. Pretty over the top.
Yeah. I mean, they make it a vile creature, and they do a real good job at that. I like the parts when Father Karras is first, like, testing this to even see if it is, like, a possession situation, like, because he's absolutely positive there's no way it could be.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, he's questioning his own faith anyway, so
Yeah.
there's a psychological thing. So when he does some simple tricks and stuff like that, it plays off almost the way he expects it to in his brain, like, oh, yeah, she's pretending to be extreme and all this stuff like that. But there are a couple of things that bother him. You know, the fact that she knew that his mother had recently died. And
Well, and he brings it up in passing. Like, he's like, oh, did you know about my mother's passing to the mom?
Yeah.
She knew, of course, but it's that follow-up question, like, did your daughter know?
Yeah.
No.
She's like, no. Is there any way your daughter would have known that? Like, no. Yeah. It's
I really enjoyed the line when he put his recording equipment down, and the girl, Reagan looks at him and is like, "Oh, nice day for an exorcism." That was the line.
That's
Sweet.
totally what I'm talking about. The like sense of humor that's like brought in.
What a wonderful day for an exorcism.
I thought that was fantastic.
It makes me wonder if the actress had any like. I mean, I'm sure making any movie at that age has an impression on you.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, like, if she had to deal with, you know, any residual feelings from people or from
I gotta say,
experience.
getting over this role must have been rough.
Yeah.
I could only imagine.
Well, I think they were protective of her for certain things, and it wasn't always her on the bed. Like, sometimes it was...
I felt there was a couple of stand-ins.
Yeah, there was definitely stand-ins.
Like the scene when she was like, F me!
Yeah,
like
anything too crazy that.
And she had like her legs open or something like that. Like, I felt that was a stand-in. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any evidence to support that, but
No, you're
like,
probably right. Like,
Yeah.
any of those parts, I think, were, you know, they just had her doing... I don't know exactly when, but there are times when it is definitely not Linda Blair. It's somebody else.
They made her look so gross. Not just what she was saying, but like what they did with her physically. Like her face and her mouth and her, like, all these weird abrasions that look like they're infected and stuff. It's like, it's gross.
Yeah, like she's falling apart. And it was from the inside out, so her body is like reflecting the rot that's going on inside.
Yeah. It's like she's trying to sweat it out. I've seen that kind of in different stories, and I think I've heard fairy tales kind of too, or myths that are like that. That, like, maybe I've heard of it in like Native American culture or something, that like, you sweat something out, and something is like, I think that's what a sweat lodge is for. But,
well, there's a little movie called The Prophecy that you might remember. Where they tried to do something like an exorcism.
this guy.
No, I wasn't talking about the scholarly, reference point of the movie The Prophecy.
Because if you recall at the end, you know, they take him to the sweat lodge. Like, oh, we're all out of ideas. I don't know, give them to the Native Americans.
Another thing I thought of, though, with them trying to get the spirit, like, out, was it kind of reminded me of the Babadook.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of wonder if there's some other, like, because I don't know the book, I wonder if there's this thing that's, like, kind of, metaphorically happening with them in their family or something that's also kind of, the way it does, spoiler alert for the Babadook.
Something like the Amityville Horror, which I think has been shown. There's a documentary by one of the children that actually experienced what was going on there, and it was like a psychological and physical abuse situation. It wasn't, you know, you chalk it up to like spirits have taken us over. It's like, no, my father was just really screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could translate that into a ghost story. You know what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you
No,
gonna
it's
say?
okay.
Okay. Well, this is important what I'm going to say, so I'm glad you're allowing me to speak. And there's something on my chest I got to get off to you guys.
Go ahead, Joel.
That's that.
We're here to listen.
Sometimes you got to crack open a refreshing beverage.
Oh.
And I think it's time for a little commercial break here.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you remember sometime in the past we used to do, these kind of like sideshow things that were, they were soda related. We'll talk about that. And tonight's sponsor, Coca-Cola Orange Vanilla flavor.
I gotta say, crack the cap and Gave it a nice little sniff there.
It smells like a creamsicle.
Yeah.
Sarah, you already took a taste. What are you tasting there?
It is like a Coke with an orange creamsicle. But, there's a weird orange aftertaste that's more like orange bitters.
Oh, that's cool. Like orange soda with vanilla in it, but no, yeah, I can taste what you're talking about. Huh. That's almost like there's that carbon dioxide bitterness that you get in just like soda water.
Yeah, it's actually, I kind of like it myself.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just really sweet, but
Yeah, I feel like I'd have to be in a particular mood to want it, but it is tasty. It's not the same as drinking a Coke. Unfortunately, I drink so much soda that drinking a Coke is like nothing to me now. That's like, having a glass of water or something.
refreshing Coca-Cola water.
But now, this is pretty good. This feels like a dessert or something.
Yeah, I like the way it, like, I can still take the Coke there too. It's like I had a orange creamsicle and I dipped it in the Coke.
This is a nice refresh.
Yeah.
Pretty tasty, actually.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good combination. It'd be worse if they had more Coke and not enough of the other flavors.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a hint of Coke. It's probably like a full Coke, and they put like a full amount of like syrups of this other flavor in there.
Yeah.
But the Coke tastes very subtle.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Have either of you had like the straight Coke vanilla that they sell?
Yes, I've had it.
I've never had it. Is it good?
Much. I think like
I feel that the the vanilla Coke is just to put like in your mixed drink.
I see. Okay. Perfect for my vodka.
There you go.
And our second sponsor is Casper Mattresses. Have you ever lied on a mattress and it was real nice? Get a Casper. That's how that goes, right?
Something about it's in a box and you don't have to worry about assembly and you just take it out and it grows or something.
You just add water and it grows.
You just had water.
Are you looking to strap your daughter down to something very comfortable while she's possessed? Try Casper Mattresses.
After you've restrained her on the Casper mattress, be sure to then go get your orange vanilla Coke blessed by a priest and just sprinkle it.
Yeah, just
all
splash
over
it on her face.
There you go.
I was expecting somebody to be impaled with the bedposts.
Oh, yeah.
At
Oh, yeah.
some point, because I just figured, it's a demon. They're gonna do something mean, and there's these posts right next to her.
Other than Father Karras, we don't see a single one of the deaths that she causes. And I mean, there's 3, including Father Karras, so
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting way to do that.
Yeah.
That is. I feel like there's part of the movie where they're playing with you for a minute before they come right out and say, this is a demon possession. They don't show you that because they're kind of making you wonder still. I didn't expect... Okay, spoiler alert. They die.
Wow.
Yeah.
Both of the priests in the room die. I was not expecting that. That is something that was never spoiled for me before about this movie.
I mean, you were only were you expecting the old man to die?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Both of them?
I thought both of them had the power of God
the
on their
power of
side, and they
Christ.
were going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
I understand that. I mean, but, they did kind of lead up with Father Mara, something like that. Father Marin, because he's taking those pills.
Yeah.
But it's not like we see him die. Like, he's just in there by himself with Reagan, and Father Karras goes back upstairs and gets up there, and, he's on the ground, and he's pale. He's so pale. It's like he just died. He just keeled over and died. We don't even know. It's not like, it doesn't even look like something violent happened to him. But
yeah, it's funny that I knew something about that character because we watched the Exorcist TV show. I had seen part of the Exorcist TV show, but I hadn't seen this movie.
There's a TV show?
Yeah, with Gina Davis as the mom.
Two seasons on Fox.
Whoa! Sorry, I live in a cave.
No, that's all right. It was pretty good.
Okay. But they were talking
Get out of
about
that cave.
him
Yeah.
doing an exorcism in like South America or something for a month, and they had like they expanded on that in the TV show, I think, a little bit.
Oh,
They showed you
okay.
some of that, but I just love how the priest comes into this like ready to work.
Yeah.
Like, he comes in here and he's just like, I know what this is. I know what I need to do. Like, here I go again. Like, he's just prepared.
Yeah, I love that attitude too, where he was just, or I think the other priest was like, well, do you know anything about the case?
Yeah.
And he's just like, no.
No.
He's like, well, there's 3 entities, and he just cuts them off. There's only one. Goes upstairs.
Yeah.
They do that so interesting with Father Maris, because he's the first person we're introduced to in the movie, you know, and it takes place on what you might think of as the other side of the world, you know, like they're digging up ancient Persia looking for artifacts, and we don't even know what he's necessarily looking for there, or what even is motivating him, but there's something odd going on, you know, that he almost gets run over by a person on a cart with a weird looking lady on it. I guess that's evil. I think it's also a little silly, like, okay, old man, just calm down.
Hey, he has a heart condition, okay?
That's true. Yeah.
Everything's frightening to him.
Yeah. He doesn't get scared by a phone like Father Karras, though, so he's...
Yeah, but that guy's got problems too, man.
He does. He does indeed.
Well, I gotta say, that scene at the beginning of the movie when he's just staring at the statue while the dogs are fighting, it's pretty rad. It's pretty...
Going crazy around.
Going crazy.
That was one of the parts. There were a couple parts that I thought Suspiria kind of took from. And Suspiria is so good, too, in its own right.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's another art horror movie, like legitimately good horror movie.
Yeah.
Although some people I'm sure don't like it.
It's funny, too.
Yeah.
Without really meaning to be very funny, but...
That statue had a pretty big dong. I couldn't help but
you
notice.
Noticed.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that.
You noticed that statue's big hog.
It was like a snake or something, you know?
It was,
Python.
There was something going on there.
Yep.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, let's go to
But I guess I wasn't looking in the right area.
Hashtag Pazuzu's dong.
Yeah, Pazuzu.
They don't actually say Pazuzu
They
in
don't.
this one. I think that doesn't come in until like the second movie.
Have you seen the second movie?
I've seen part of the
I've seen it. No, I'm
movie.
just kidding, guys. I haven't seen it.
And the part I saw wasn't very good. But,
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
You're saying skip it.
Horror movie fans love the third one. Like, and there's I think there's 2 different versions of the third one, and they both have their good parts and bad parts over each other.
I have seen an exorcism movie, but not in this series, but it was...
Was it that one with Gabriel Byrne and Patricia Arquette? Because I saw that in the theater.
That sounds familiar.
And at the end, it's like, to learn more about the Gnostic Bibles, please go to this website. I'm like, hey, shut up.
No, it was the Rite with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh. I read Anthony Hopkins' face.
Yep. That one was pretty rad.
I didn't know.
Was that one with Heath Ledger in it? That was like a movie where he was a priest?
The Order?
Maybe.
I thought The Order was a movie coming out here pretty soon.
I mean,
Like,
there's probably been 15 movies called The Order.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, no. It's that Netflix series that just came out.
Oh.
The Order.
Like, I'll have a number 2. The Order.
The Order.
Large size. The Order. Was there a part that you guys did think was legitimately, like, freaky in this?
You go first.
Oh, okay. I mean...
She was talking to me, Aaron. I get to go first.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, go.
Answer your own question, Joel. Here's a mirror.
Joel, what do you think? Well, I'm glad you asked, Joel.
Yeah, there were some pretty spooky scenes. Like, I mean, obviously, this is a movie that is very derivative. Like, you know, I think the pacing is something that people use a lot in horror movies as well. Nowadays. Yeah, no, there's some pretty spooky crap. Like, the head turning around thing is pretty unnatural. But I think funny enough, the one thing that I think I cringed the most at was when they were doing the Spinal Tap.
So the legitimate physical,
the legitimate
something that can
medical scene when they injected that thing into her, and you just saw blood just spurt out. I was like, no, like. But I'm kind of one of those guys. If there's like an actual medical procedure on television being viewed, I immediately turn the channel.
Yeah, I understand.
I can't handle it.
I think of Spinal Tap as actually taking place like in the back, like. They
Me
have
too.
the person on their side, but they like were getting it out of her neck area.
Yeah.
So they had it. I mean, first of all, you had to have a long enough needle to reach the spine from the neck.
Nope.
And then it's just like,
nope.
Nope. It's comedic. It sprays the doctor right in the face.
But that honestly was the scene that made me cringe the most.
Yeah.
I think the scene that made me cringe the most was the part where she was coming down the stairs with the blood coming out.
Oh,
just
man.
Because I thought it was a surprise.
Yeah.
And
totally.
I wondered if it was the first time it had ever been done in a movie, because people do that all the time now.
Yeah.
That's like a go-to for a horror movie thing.
Right. You have to be, that like the Japanese
Twist your
horror.
body in an unusual way. Yeah.
Crawling out of the TV or the well,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Ringu?
Yeah. Crawling out of your Ringu.
Yeah. The Ring.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I remember specifically creeping me out, and I think this was back in the day, it didn't really creep me out now because I was expecting it, but I remember the voice recording thing, like when the guy's analyzing it, that freaked me out because it was,
you didn't suspect it?
Yeah, I didn't know it was going, the voices, and then when it actually just plays it backwards, it's like multiple voices coming from the same person type thing.
Clear as day.
It was really effective.
Having that distortion and like the hearing it backwards first, and then it just being clear as day, that's pretty scary.
I did think the sound was scary, but I also thought that it was a little fun with audio type thing. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but there's this mixtape thing that they found of Kurt Cobain's, and it's about basically his fascination with sound, and there were some really gross, weird sounding things on it. It wasn't just that he wanted to hear things that sounded beautiful. He was interested in all sound, and I think that this is one of those moments where it's you hear more. I heard more than one voice, initially, I don't know if you noticed it the first time.
Yeah.
And that, for me, in that moment in the movie was yep, that's not a normal person anymore.
Yep.
That if you hear more than one voice coming out of a person in unison or simultaneously, that isn't really possible.
Yeah, most people can't do a call and response with themselves.
Yeah.
with two different voices.
This isn't some Jack Black inward singing trick that's going on here.
Yeah, I thought the audio was interesting that they used that technique to make it creepy, and it is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a lot of sounds that are creepy, and a lot of things that people don't even use in horror movies that could be creepy, but...
That baby sound that's in that one R&B song, that's pretty creepy. It's like, you!
Could you sing that for us, Joel?
I don't remember.
A baby sound just randomly is creepy.
Yeah.
If there's no baby around.
I mean, people do that in horror movies, you're walking around a house and you just hear the baby crying. It's like, there is nobody in this, so where's this crying sound coming from? And it's I've heard animals that sounded like a human baby, and it was you've just freaked it. out of me, you know?
Yeah, the cry of the fox.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Forget it.
Yeah,
No wonder people think the forest is haunted, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, animals that can mimic human sounds is a little creepy.
So, the thing we haven't really touched on is the religious aspect of this movie. And I think it handles it so well because I'm not a Catholic. I hardly know anything about Catholicism except for everything that I've experienced through media, you know. And I think that this shows like a group of Catholic priests that are people. Like there's the one guy who is Father Karras's friend, and it seems like he's friends with the actress, the mom in the movie too, you know, because he's at the piano playing and stuff like that, and he's just a guy. And then when Father Karras is like trying to see if there is even a case for the exorcism to happen type thing, he goes and he's talking with people, and nobody's like, oh, the Lord has obviously sent you to do this stuff like that. And even to the point where they've decided that there is going to be an exorcism. It's just like two guys in a room being like, well, who do we look for? Well, he should be there to assist, and there should be a psychologist. He's a psychologist, so he'll be there. Oh, we got this guy who's got experience, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the matter of factness without it being like, the Lord is going to say, like, there are versions of this where it could have been way more.
Like lighting candles and like
I am the holy light.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think it's handled in a more realistic, whatever you can imagine, realistic in this situation being.
Yeah. Kind
of like the priests in Spotlight, and I was thinking First Reformed. First Reformed was such a good movie, but it was so depressing that I don't know if I can watch it again.
Right. That guy's just a man.
I kind of want to watch it again, but yeah, they portray somebody who is a religious man in like a normal light that makes him seem relatable and rational, not carried away with the idea that these are real people that have a real problem that needs to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
Demon is a real problem.
I guess we got a demon. Okay, call him the guy.
Yep.
What do we got for that? And one guy was in Persia. Oh, he's back. He's in Woodstock right now. What's he doing in Woodstock?
Crazy.
Yeah.
That this is like his thing that he does. He's like, oh yeah, I've done this before. Here I am to do it.
I mean, that's why he was at that dig site. He's like, the last one was so crazy, I just gotta go. I don't know. I'll do something else.
They said he was writing a book.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was writing a book about that or something else. Seems like he's had a variety of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why the man in the office said that line in the beginning of the movie, but that evil fights evil line. There was no real connection to anything with that, but...
If he was quoting something or
yeah,
what,
I don't
I'm
know.
Not sure.
That was a line that stuck with me.
Yeah. And then you saw that big hog dog on that statue.
And I was almost blinded by that.
Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta fight that evil. What did you guys think of the...
I thought of that video of Mick Fleetwood with the sound.
Oh man!
Yeah, that's the Demon Pazuzu is he's playing his drum machine on his body. Yeah, you see that and you're like, "That's a man of sin."
That's what Nick said.
That's right. Talking about the prophecy. Not the movie The Prophecy, like saying the prophecy shows the Antichrist will come in the form of a balding man playing his body as an instrument. It's just advanced ham boning. That's what it was. They do a lot of like I'm trying to think of the term where they like put one shot over another shot. Superimposing parts with the faces and stuff. Did you guys like that? Like,
oh yeah,
there's that one person who's got that, like that painted demon face type thing
yes.
that they keep flashing up. I mean, I can see somebody seeing that as silly, but like,
I dug it. I dug it too.
I felt about 50-50 about it. I thought it looked cool, but I thought like it was also a little silly if they they didn't hang on it as much as some movies would have, and I appreciated that. They used it sparingly, and that made it more of a surprise when it happened.
Yeah, there's nobody explaining, like, oh, this is the guy. Like, I saw your face, and I'm a believer. You know.
Like the monkeys?
Yes. And you know what else I'm believing? Delicious Coca-Cola orange vanilla flavor.
Oh. Goes down smooth, right?
Yeah, there's a little artificiality to that vanilla taste that doesn't work.
Mm.
You know, it needs to be a little more creamy. This tastes kind of perfumey.
Oh.
It's like an Italian soda. It's like if someone used like a cola and vanilla and orange flavor in a soda water and then put cream in it like it was an Italian, like a whipped cream Italian soda.
I see.
In my opinion.
Duly noted.
So I picked this one.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Because
I love this movie.
We had talked about watching it more than once, and I had never seen it, and we had a conversation recently about movies that maybe we had been waiting around to choose, but things that we just kind of wanted to do now. And this was one that I thought could apply to our genre, even though it's not exactly like some of the movies we watch. I thought it was something worth seeing, so I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about it, so I'm glad we got to. You know, I would have to wait until me and Spencer got to William Friedkin, which, you know, I don't know. We're going to be doing our podcast for 20 years. We might cover him as a director. You never know.
What other movies has this director directed?
He also did... hold on.
Sorry, I just didn't know if you knew.
No. He did that one, The French Connection.
Oh.
He did Killer Joe. That was from a couple of years ago. Bug. Jade. Oh, boy. Blue Chips. Okay, come on. Where are the good ones? And To Live and Die in L.A. Wang Chung, To Live and Die in L.A. He directed their music video. There you go. Cruisin'.
Oh.
At the Al Pacino. Sorcerer, which is a really good remake of The Wages of Fear.
Oh.
Starring Roy Scheider. Not Wages of Fear. Roy Scheider stars in Sorcerer.
Oh.
It's a tense movie. And... yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I think he's most famous for The Exorcist and The French Connection.
Definitely familiar with The French Connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Little bit of pop culture for you guys on The Exorcist.
Oh.
Pazuzu has an appearance in the Gorillaz music video Humility for their more recent album.
Do one of the gorillas become possessed?
I think possession's actually kind of a
9/10 of the law.
No, it's just kind of it's a thing in the Gorillaz history. I think one of the characters is like always possessed.
Oh, I see.
I don't remember
the drummer girl.
Maybe once or twice.
I see.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's got Jack Black in the video too. That's the second reference I made today.
Does he play a monkey or demon?
He just plays the guy with the guitar.
Okay, well, just checking. Anything else you guys, else? Anything else you guys want to say about The Exorcist?
I liked the slide zooms in and out.
Yeah, I love that 70s stuff.
I
thought
it was pretty cool. I thought that that's the kind of stuff that, like, in Get Out now, that people have started using again, the, like, quick zoom from far away.
I'm a fan of that cinematography as well.
Yeah, I think that it's cool that people are using different styles again. And I also really loved that scene on the stairs where one of them was in focus. It was like a depth of field shot where when one of them was talking, the other one was out of focus, and then the other way around, too.
Yeah, like one of them was close to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was sitting in the
other
distance.
one's in the background, yeah.
Yeah, and we watched a small documentary thing that's on the Blu-ray that we have, and apparently that wasn't in the original movie, and like all three of us are like, wow, because that's such a great like shot alone, but it feels like the scene is necessary too, the way they're talking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, those are basically the last words he says until he goes into that room, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of important, I guess. Now that I know that it kind of just ends like that, I feel like I would want to watch it again because I would know what to pay attention to and what would, but it's, in first experience, I liked it a lot, and I thought the soundtrack was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Who does that theme, the main theme?
So Tubular Bells is a weird song. The guy who made it, hold on, let me look this up.
Isn't there a band just called Tubular Bells?
There probably is, but that's not Tubular.
Pretty sure there is a band just called that, but
there we go. It was Tubular Bells was made by one guy. His name was Mike Oldfield. When he made that, he didn't make it with the intention of it being in The Exorcist. Like somebody bought the rights to put it into the movie. And like I said, that's just one chunk of the song. The song is like almost 30 minutes long or something like that. And it goes through all these different tempos and stuff like that. Even the most famous part in The Exorcist, there's like do doon doon do doon 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 doon. That's going from like 2/4 to 4/4 or something like that. It's going some crazy tempo change, not tempo. I can't remember. I haven't been in band in 20 years. I can't remember the word. So, and he like adds in instruments as it's going along and stuff like that. It becomes this whole massive sound, and I don't know. I heard a breakdown of Tubular Bells that there's some guy who does these breakdowns of like famous pieces of music and like just to show each of the separate parts. Like this is not only just the bass line and the drum line, but it's like there are these sound effects that you wouldn't know, but we've stripped it out. Like this is happening and everything. And he did a really good one with the Ghostbusters theme song, and like he strips out just the vocals of Ray Parker Jr. And the whole time Ray Parker Jr. is singing, you can hear him slapping his leg.
Oh.
It's really interesting. Like, you wouldn't notice in the song because it's got all the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's funny.
But, yeah. It's
kind of, reminded me of John Carpenter, but I don't know which came first. I just think that it's probably something that was picked up on as like a common idea for using that type of sound to cause suspense in a horror movie. I think it's cool that they can use a simple melody to kind of make this anxiety start in horror movies.
Yeah, the right kind of music, yeah. That's what's wrong with the 90s, because there was like, you know what this music needs? Metal. Like, no. I don't know.
I look back on it as just another age because, there's some music that's really amazing that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had these other beats in music history, and some people who I find really incredible musicians were influenced by people that I can't stand. But I'm like, you know what? They loved them, and I wouldn't have had this music to listen to if they hadn't had that music. So
sure.
I figure, some of the music phases we go through are a little unfortunate in my opinion, but I think it's all part of the part of the pool that everybody learns from and grows from. So
Makes sense to me.
Aaron, is there anything else you want to point out about The Exorcist?
No, I think it's been well covered.
Have your parents seen The Exorcist?
I cannot recall.
Are you afraid that they would think it was sacrilegious? Call your mom up right now. Put her on speakerphone.
We got Diane on the line.
Diane from Ventura County, you're on the air.
What do you think about The Exorcist? Then tell us your opinion on the Skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it Coast to Coast?
Skinwalker Ranch.
I was doing
I was just there.
I was doing Larry King.
Oh, you were? I'm always thinking about Coast
to Coast AM, yeah.
Yeah, you know it.
Mm-hmm. Today we're talking about... No, let's do the Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh?
We'll talk about an unsolved murder from the 1940s. And also, alien werewolves. Yeah, thanks for picking The Exorcist. I love it. And
sure. I'm glad I liked it too.
We're going to watch it again, in a year. So get ready.
Okay.
Not for the podcast, just, for shits and giggles.
I'm going to go out to the closest Blockbuster and rent Exorcist 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because Joel says it's a good movie.
I'm gonna watch all those Exorcist movies by myself. Because I love torture. So you guys want to think of a lesson that you learned from Coke Vanilla Orange flavor? No, The Exorcist. And I'm going to read some of this outro stuff that we have left over from the old format. Hey, listeners, if you enjoy our stuff, you want to send us a nice, sweet compliment. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to write in a suggestion for something you want us to talk about, anything like that, a comment, you can write into pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com, message us on Facebook, facebook.com/PDSMiOS. You can also message us on Twitter. I don't post on Twitter, but I do respond to messages on Twitter, and our Twitter handle is @OuterSpacePod. If you have a few bucks you want to send our way, we still have the coffee site. That's ko-fi.com/PDSMiOS. I put the links in the show notes. So if anyone's interested, send a few bucks our way. We'd appreciate it. So we can buy some more of this delicious Coke Vanilla Orange Vanilla. It's one of those things. Next time we'll get the Coke Zero version.
Oh.
Because I gotta watch my weight. It's gonna be bathing suit season pretty soon, y'all.
I got a nice little pink and black zebra stripe number to wear out to the pool.
Like a one piece?
Oh, no, it's actually 2 pieces. Yeah.
Oh, 2 piece. Nice. Cover up those sensitive areas.
That's right.
Thanks to David DeRoy for our theme music, to Jed Dowtry for our podcast logo, and to all the people who stuck with us, our listeners, to Scott Patz, to Kim Torres, to Spencer Seams, to Thomas Roberts.
And our friends.
We have friends?
Yep.
And everyone who's guested on the podcast.
Thank you.
Scott Cherry. Other people. Anyways.
Thank you to the Mogwai Minute for having us on, too.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Pretty rad. I had a good time.
We did some of those recently.
We've guested on a few different podcasts.
Yeah.
That were cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of those lame podcasts, only cool ones.
We gotta get those Clash of the Type-Ins fellas back on the air.
Oh, yeah, Ryan and Jenny, I miss those, too.
Yeah, I miss them.
Yeah. Who knows what's going on with them. What was I
think they're typing on their keyboards.
Oh, I don't know if anybody listened to me and Spencer's other podcast, the High and Low at Kurosawa podcast, but we're coming back at the end of this month, which is March, and we're going to be doing Spike Lee. That's going to be We Cut Heads, a Spike Lee podcast, starting off with Malcolm X. So that's coming soon to your ears.
Woo-woo.
If you're anticipating and you want to hear two goofballs talk about good movies and bad movies, but not in a semi-serious way. Anyways, We Cut Heads. That's coming soon to your ear holes.
Nice.
All right.
I did make an oversight. I forgot to mention that I thought Ellen Bernstein was great in this movie.
Oh, yes.
And that it seemed like she was almost like in her real life. Like, it seemed very real to me, and we'd just seen her in the Last Picture Show not that long ago. Joel and I watched it, and she was so just, like, young and pretty and, yeah, looked different. And then in this movie, and then in, you know, like, Requiem for a Dream, she looks like, almost like the possessed character.
Eventually she does, yeah.
Yeah, but she's a great actress, and I love her.
I think I saw her in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which is a Scorsese movie recently, and that movie is so good, and like it all rides on her shoulders. Basically, it's like I can't describe what happens in the movie because it doesn't sound very interesting. You know, it's a single mom who she moves around because she's trying to find a steady job to be able to take care of herself and her son, and it's just what she goes through, meeting men and things like that, and smooching Chris Christopherson, which is always a good thing. No, I don't know.
One should always
Mr. Christopherson,
Mr. Christopherson.
If you're listening, we'd all like to smooch you.
Yep.
But
we'll all line up at your kissing booth.
Yeah. Well, maybe not Sarah. She looks kind of like she's not into it, but
That's
me and
okay.
Aaron will be there.
Yeah, we'll get in line right now.
Yeah, there's 2 kisses in a row in these episodes. I gotta cut that out. Anyways, did you guys learn a lesson from The Exorcist?
Did I learn a lesson? Oh,
several lessons.
lessons from this movie? Believe in God.
That's a lesson you learned? I think that
No, I'm a lesson from this movie.
Well, that's actually, you just brought up a weird thing I kind of want to ask. Do you think that her and Reagan and her mom are religious after
I don't know.
this experience?
I think that they're probably more open to it. Well, I mean, spoiler, I guess, but Reagan, it was mentioned that Reagan had no memory
Had no memory of it, yeah.
so she might not learn very much. But I mean, just seeing her reaction to seeing the priest at the end of the movie.
She knew something had been done.
Yeah. So.
Anyways, lesson.
Lots of things to learn.
Aaron, what's your lesson?
I learned, don't live near a really large flight of stairs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Oh no, we're screwed.
Be careful when you live next to large staircase.
A steep staircase.
Yeah. I'm gonna live on ground floors for the rest of my life, guys. Not near stairs.
Well, the front of their house wasn't anywhere near those stairs. It was just the side window that happened to be her bedroom window.
Nope. It was up a flight of stairs, though. Had to get up.
If somebody starts saying they need an exorcist, take it serious.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably get people every day saying they need an exorcist. And it's just,
That's true.
That's why I think it comes, that's where all Father Karras's doubt comes from. It's like, we've seen many mental illnesses, and I've studied it my whole life. Like, the church put me through university to become a psychologist for these purposes. So, let's see. The lesson that I learned is that if your daughter is possessed by a demon and having to have all kinds of medical tests and all that kind of stuff like that, you probably should let her father know, even if he is kind of a deadbeat who doesn't call her on her birthday. Not to say that that lady did anything wrong here.
You're saying, include the father.
I feel like the movie takes place over like a 2-month period. So is it like she's like strapped to the bed and her father calls like, no, everything's fine. She can't come on the phone right now.
Good point.
I don't know. He's with the circus though, so who knows what he's doing. Wait, that's how she was able to walk down the stairs backwards, because she's got those circus jeans.
I didn't know it was a circus. I missed that.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's what he said. They say at one point, but maybe I misheard. I can't remember. Anyways, we'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening, guys. Bye.